So today we are going to jump into pre-qualification. Okay? Because here's what I'm realizing is so many people on their listing appointments, on their buyer consultations, the problem they run into down the road often starts at pre-qualification. Okay? So it's because we're missing something in the pre-qualification. We are needing to add a question, right, that wasn't there before, and make sure that we're asking the same things every single time so that we can really get people in this pre-approval process. Okay, and the whole goal of it is to create our proven process, right? We want to guide them through every step, to be their leader through the process. That's the other thing that I find is where communication starts to fall apart, is when we have lost the leadership, right? When they seem to be in the lead and we're following their lead, right? Okay, and so much of this can be handled with the pre-qualification. Now, one of the biggest questions I get on pre-qual, pre-presentation, this kind of stuff, is when does it happen and how does it happen? Okay, so I would love for one of you to role play with me today. I'm going to shut this. And be my seller and what you guys think they're answering, because I want you to kind of get the flow of this, okay? So the few biggest things, let me share my screen and let's look at the script book, okay? Now, the script book is a good starting place for you, right? You then need to make it your own. There might be questions in here that you don't want to ask or you do need to ask every single time and you're missing, okay? So the biggest things about your pre-presentation, your pre-qualification is we're trying to get these three things answered so that when we walk into the listing appointment, we know exactly why we're there and what we're going to talk about. Okay, so the first one is their motivation. What's motivating them to make this sale? This right here will determine what your next steps are. If they are not highly motivated, you may not go out for the listing appointment, right? Okay, I'm going to go back to order in just a minute. So motivation, agent requirements. What do they want? What are they looking for in the person that hires them, right? And then where are we on price and market? Okay, once you know those three things, you can guide them through any market condition, any pricing, any challenges that you might face going forward. Okay, so let's start with how these happen. Okay, these questions can come into play when you are on the phone with someone. Okay, so I say have your seller and your buyer pre-qual out in front of you at all times. Okay, they should be printed. They should be on your walls. They should be everywhere you go. You need a copy on your cell phones, okay, that you can get to very easily. A digital copy. You want at any point in any conversation to be able to pull those up and be like, okay, how can I kind of roll through this conversation? Okay, then if you set the appointment and have not had the opportunity to ask all these questions, then you schedule another quick call before I come out on Tuesday. Okay, so if I've scheduled an appointment for next Tuesday, let's say I set it today, and I didn't get to ask these questions and we got off the phone, either at the end of that call, I'd say, hey, do you mind? I have a few more detailed questions to make sure I'm fully prepared for our call. Could we schedule another time that we could run through those together on the phone? Okay. Or if you've scheduled it and haven't gotten to them, then you're not on the phone with them. Now you reach back out to them, okay? And you're going to send another text or a call and say, hey, in preparation for our appointment on Tuesday, there were some questions I didn't get to ask that would help me be ready. Do you have some time, maybe, whenever, that we could hop on the phone for a quick 15 minutes and let me just finish all these questions with you, okay? So make sure you're getting this in and that you're scheduling the time to ask all these questions when you need it, okay? Debbie, I see your thinking head on. Do you have some comments? Okay.
No, I think the obviously getting to the motivation is always easy. And I think for me, the next big one is like, what's your backup plan?
Okay.
Like, I mean, that's always,
Yep.
that
Okay.
tells
And
you a
what's the
lot.
challenge with that one?
There's no challenge. That is one that I always ask. So even in front of them. So
Oh, yeah.
if you've done this properly, you can say, so your backup plan is to do what flow, how does that
Correct.
work with getting to Las Vegas by August?
Yes. Beautiful. Okay. So just making sure that you're really asking that question and understanding what their backup plan is and that they have one. Yeah, that's so important. So many people do not ask that question. Okay. So, Debbie, are you willing to role play this with me?
Sure, sure.
Okay.
I'll
Awesome.
be your PETA.
Yay, I love it. Now, here's the other most important part that I want you to remember as we're doing this. The key is to not have the appointment right now.
Mm,
Ugh, do
why?
not have the appointment right now. You're going to watch for me to do that. Okay? I am intentionally not having the appointment right now. I'm gathering information so that when I come back, I have the highest opportunity for success. Okay? Of getting this listing, getting them to follow my lead on pricing and strategy. Okay? All right, so I like to take notes, so I'm getting my pad ready just because anytime I role play, I kind of do my notes anyways. Okay, so Debbie, now that I'm ready to come out and see your house on Friday, I have just a few questions for you. So here's how Debbie's going to be. Debbie was a referral for me. Okay, let's go from that because that's another time, guys, that you do not pre-qualify people. Okay, so here's what happened. My friend Stephanie said, hey, I talked to Debbie Argenta. She needs a great realtor. I'm referring her to you. We've scheduled an appointment. Hey, I'm going to come out next week. I can't wait to meet you. We've done all of that kind of stuff. And now I need to pre qualify. Okay, so how many of you would stop right there and just go to the appointment? It's a referral. I've got what I need. Go to the appointment. Okay, so I want you to exactly don't ever do that. You got to go through this step. Okay, so now I have reached back out and said, hey, I've got a few more questions to make sure I'm completely ready for the appointment next week. So, Debbie, let me ask, let's go back to when I come out next week, is this an appointment to actually put your house on the market, or are we just going to talk about kind of what you need to do to get it ready, pricing, that sort of thing?
I need a detailed plan on what to do and how to do it.
Okay, you got it. So we're going to kind of lay out our time frame to get it ready over maybe the next couple months, next couple weeks. What are you thinking?
Uh, Probably at least 30 days.
Okay, you got it. Perfect. So talk to me. What are our top two goals for this meeting? What do you want to make sure we definitely talk about?
I'm gonna need so I think I need flooring, right? And paint. So if you can recommend some contractors for that. Um, I've already started to move things into a storage facility, so trying to make things a little easier,
Yep,
streamlining things. So yeah, I need some flooring
got it.
contractors and some painters.
Okay, you got it. So the first thing is definitely giving you a list of what all needs to be done to get it market ready. Okay, I've got all the contractors. We'll organize all that. What else?
Um, I want to know what you're going to do. Like, how long is it going to take to get the house sold?
You got it.
I mean, I don't want to give it away, obviously, but I also don't want to be sitting out there for 6 months.
Yep, I got it. So talk to me. Why are you moving? Why is now the time?
I need to be closer to my family, take care of my parents are getting older, so I need to be close to them.
Yeah, got it. And where do they live?
Chicago.
Chicago. And do you already have a place there? Do you need any help with real estate in Chicago, or are you all set on that end?
No, I'm good. I'm good
Okay,
there.
gotcha. And then talk to me. If we could wave a magic wand, when would you want to be in Chicago?
The next 90 days.
Gotcha. And does that mean moved in and settled in the next 90 days, or does that just mean you've got this place sold and you're ready?
I would like to be moved in 90 days.
You
Like, I
got
don't
it.
care. I mean, the house doesn't sell in 90 days, that's okay, but I need to be gone in 90 days.
Gotcha. Okay. And then let's say 90 days comes, we're moving you to Chicago. House isn't sold. So that's okay for you to carry it for a little while should we need to?
It's free and clear, so yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay, gotcha. Do you want to do that?
Ideally, no. I'd like
Okay.
to not have anything hanging out there.
Okay. That would be my goal too. I'd love for you to be able to be done here in Indiana when you're ready to go. So, okay, will you be purchasing another house in Chicago?
I actually have a place to stay, so no, I'm not buying anything.
Okay, gotcha. So we don't need this money from the sale of this house to help you do anything.
No.
Okay, got it, got it. And then we said you'd like to be there in 90 days. And then we already know what happens if this property doesn't ever sell.
I really hadn't thought about that. I prefer to sell it. I don't really want to be a landlord.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and what's a price you won't go below? I don't think we'll need this. The market's great, but
Yeah, I think it's worth 450,000.
okay,
So
okay. So is that your bottom dollar?
I might be negotiable on, a little lower than that, but 450 is really what I was hoping for.
Gotcha. And what'd you purchase it for?
Two and a quarter.
Two and a quarter?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And I'll pull all that up before I come out there, but just good to know. So, Debbie, what's the most important thing in the realtor you are going to hire to help you sell this house? What are you looking for in that person?
So communication is a really big thing for me. So, I want to know what's going on. If you kind of just list the house and then don't follow up, don't
Mm-hmm.
tell me, I have to call you. I'm going to get a little anxious about this decision. So
Sure.
communication is number one.
Okay. What
And,
do you like to know?
I want to know, what's going on in the market. How does my house stack up with everybody else's? I
You
mean,
got it.
ideally, I'd like buyers to just see my house. Can you arrange that?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's the goal, right?
Yep.
So great. Well, Anne, if I were to give you, we'll talk throughout the process, but if you had a really good, like weekly update every single week that showed you exactly what happened in the market that past week and how your house stood up, would that be what you're looking for?
But yeah, that
Yeah.
would that would be enough. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, perfect. Well, when I come out, I'll make sure that I show you that and what I do and why I'm going to send that to you every week because it is so important, like you said, yes, for you to be on top of the market and exactly what's happening. Are you interviewing more than one agent for the job to sell your house?
You're the first one.
Okay. Do you think you'll talk to anyone else?
Depends on what you tell me.
I love that. What could I say potentially that'll make you want to?
To list with you or just
Mm.
to interview other
To
agents.
go talk to other people. What would I have to
Uh,
say to make you be like, she is not the one?
well, I mean, I haven't really given it that much thought. I think it's really, like this is kind of this is a business relationship, right? So I just need to meet you, be in my space, see what you think about my house. And I'll ask questions, and if I like the answers that you're giving me, then we'll move forward.
I love it. Okay, that sounds like a great plan. So let's talk about this. So I study the market all the time, right? And my goal for you is to get you as much money as the market will bear. How's that sound to you?
Well, good.
Okay, awesome. So, in studying the market, we're going to talk about a price that will cause your home to potentially sell quickly. Is that something that you'd like to do? Get it sold in the first 30 days?
If the data shows that my number is supported, yeah. I mean
You got
that's
it.
really what's important to me.
Okay. Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about is what the market's doing when I come back and where you could potentially price your house then to get it sold quickly, to have it sit on the market a little bit longer, take the 90 days you might have, right? If you want to take some time. So we kind of talked about a price that you won't go below. You said 450 is where you what you think it's worth, right? So if you had to sell it for 400, now I do not know. I'm just trying to get a threshold for where you'd want to go. If we had to go to 400, would that even be feasible for you, or would we be
No,
needing to look at a rental option?
yeah, I don't think I'd go that low.
Got it. Okay. So if we started facing a situation where the market's giving us a number like that, then what would be our plan B?
You'd probably have to rent it.
You got it. Okay. That's what I wanted to make sure. I don't think we're going to face that. But again, I just want to make sure I'm armed with all the information that we might need. Okay. So is there anything positive or negative about your house that could potentially affect where we list it?
Well, the positives are I've got a new furnace and air conditioner that's like less than
Great.
3 years old, hot water heater, roof was replaced in 21.
Love it.
Negative might be my next door neighbor that has chickens and a
Okay.
rooster that crows, but I mean
Okay.
that's really about it.
All right. And I'm assuming they're allowed in your HOA.
Uh, yeah, that's why he has them.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I was making sure. Sometimes they're there, right? And
Yeah.
they're not allowed to be. So I just wanted to know if that was something we needed to deal with right now. Okay, you got it. So how much do you owe? You said the property is free and clear, right? So you have no mortgage on the property. And do you pay your taxes just, are there any taxes that are owed currently, or are you up to date on all your taxes?
No, yeah, taxes are current.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so one final question. I'm going to see it when I dig into your house, but I'd love for you to quickly describe your property to me. Describe your home to me.
It's a four-bedroom ranch with 3.5 baths, gourmet kitchen, outdoor patio. Um, sits on a cul-de-sac.
Great. Talk to me
I
about
mean,
that gourmet kitchen. Tell me more about that.
well, that was really more for me than anybody else, but I
Okay.
splurged on some high-end appliances. So,
Okay.
uh,
I can't wait to see it. Okay, anything else?
no, I think it should sell quickly. I mean, it's a ranch. It's got, 4 bedrooms and 3.5 baths. I mean, and sits on a cul-de-sac. That tells me that, when I bought the house, I thought, when I sell it, I should sell it for more money
Yeah.
because of
Oh, I
that.
100% agree. I don't see any reason why you are not absolutely correct on that. So, great. Okay, so when I come out there, this will take about 30 minutes. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, great. And then in the meantime, I'm going to send you some marketing information that kind of walks you through everything I'm going to do to get your property sold. The other thing I'm going to send you is a document that I'd like for you to fill out before I get there. That, like you were saying, your new furnace, HVAC, that kind of stuff. It's going to have you outline all of that for me so that it's all down on paper when I get there. How's that sound?
I can get to that.
Okay, great. So I look forward to seeing you on Tuesday, blah, 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 right? And then we'd go on. Okay, so any ahas? Any ahas thoughts?
You're really good at like I can't wait to see that, right? Repeating and affirming. So like I can't wait to see your gourmet kitchen, right? So
Right.
that kind of feeds into their ego. That
Okay.
that shows me that you're like if I'm the one that you're speaking to, you're actually listening to me and you're edifying my choice. So I'm
Yes.
already starting to like you and you're conversant. It's not salesy. It's just like, yeah, so what if it didn't sell, what's your plan B? Um, Tell me about this. And when I tell you about it, you're just, really excited. I guess is a good way of putting it.
Okay. I love that. And that is not, yeah, that's something that I've had to practice, right? Megan put it in there and said reflective listening. That's exactly right. And I listen for the things that you care about, right? I was
Yeah,
picking that up. Like you listed a bunch of D and then said gourmet kitchen. That was the one descriptive word, which is why that's the one I went back to, right? That obviously meant a lot to you.
yeah. And you
So,
did say about what, if you can't sell it, I don't want to be a landlord. And your response to that was, uh, no, you don't want to do that. So
Not my goal for you either.
yeah,
And we still have to talk about all the options,
yeah.
right? Okay, now, why is that reflective listening so easy when I'm doing it this way? What could be different from the way you're pre qualifying? It's something I already said. You might be having the appointment on the phone.
Oh yeah.
Okay? So you can't really listen to what they're saying if you're trying to already be ready to sell them on it or handle that, right? That's all this is for is information gathering so that when we get out there, we know exactly what we're up against, right? We know exactly who she's talking to, exactly what she wants, and all that sort of thing. So that's a huge reason why I can absolutely listen and make it all about them, because all I'm doing is asking the questions, right? Making sure I'm clear on everything. I'm not having the appointment. I'm not trying to win them over in this conversation. I'm just gathering information so that when we meet, we're ready to go. Awesome. Okay, what else? I always love role playing with realtors because we say the realtor things, right?
You should have picked, I mean, instead of a referral, it should have been a little harder, like, an expired.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can most definitely do that. We can role play that for sure. So I did referrals so important. I think expired, you kind of naturally jump into that prequel, right? Because you're trying to figure out what should we do next. Sometimes I feel like we miss it the most on the people we know, the referrals and that sort of thing. We tend to jump out, and that is exactly what I'm hearing from so many of the agents I coach right now is they're taking business, referral business, and then not pre-qualifying it at a good high level, so then they're still getting behind the eight ball. Okay. um so did you see how I jumped around? Okay, so I just would flow into another question. I know I'm well enough to know what I'm missing, right? So don't feel like you have to quiz them. Oh, that was something that you said, Debbie. You said it did not sound salesy. 99% of the time when I put these questions up in front of agents, they think, that sounds aggressive and really salesy. What if I'm just drilling them with all these questions, right? That's exactly why I wanted to role play it for you, because it should not be that way. It is fact finding, it's information gathering, right? It is not interviewing them and like putting them under the gun, right? Whatever they say, we do not care what the answer is. We truly don't care what the answer is. We are not trying to handle any of what they say. We're just gathering to know how we're going to handle it when we get out there.
You ask
Okay?
permission at the beginning, like, do you have a couple of minutes? I just have a couple of questions to ask you before we meet on Tuesday. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
that sets the tone for it. And just my own experience, there are a lot of realtors that won't take the time to have these conversations because they do feel like it's, I'm interrogating them, but you're not. If you're having a
Mm-mm.
conversation with them, A, you're setting the tone for how you're going to meet them face to face. I think you should be. And then B, if you have an outline, you're just leading them to give you the information. It's
Yes.
it's really like how you're going to lead them, shepherd them from, listing to closing.
Yes. That is exactly the thing, right? He who asks the questions leads the conversation, right? He who asks the questions is the leader. That is what you have to constantly keep reminding yourself. If you are losing the leadership through a transaction, if they're starting to lead, you need to take a step back and be like, oh, who's asking the questions? Right? And if they're asking you the questions, you might need to figure out how you get that control back and how do I start asking them the questions again to lead them. Okay. Let's see. Oh, do you plan on interviewing more than one agent for the job of selling your house? You must ask it every single time, buyers and sellers. I get more realtors that will say to me, well, gosh, if I say that, is it going to put it in their head that they should? Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. If it gets in their head that they should, at any point, you want it to be right now versus 2 weeks from now when the neighbor tells them, oh, well, did you talk to anybody else? And you're not prepared for it, right? If it's getting in their head, let's put it in their head right now, again, while you're in control of it, right? If they should be interviewing more than one agent and you want to win that business, right? Let's go ahead and say it right up front. And I was never worried I wasn't going to win that business. So I wanted them to be thinking about it right away. Let's talk about this real quick because we've got 4 minutes. How many of you like to go first if they're interviewing other agents? And how many of you want to go last if they're interviewing other agents? Do you have your proven process for when you like to go? Okay, Megan's last. And why is that, Megan?
Yeah, I'd like to go first.
Okay. Yeah, everyone has their own thing on that. Go ahead.
Oh, I just like to be the last one in their mind, and then hopefully I can kind of weigh myself. How was talking to the other realtors? How do you feel like that went?
Yep.
So it's
I love
also one of my audition strategies as an actor is to be in the last spot. So.
Yep. That makes sense. And a lot of people feel that exact same way. I want to seal the deal, and I can ask for the close. If I know they've already talked to the other realtors, and I know they can sign with me right then, right? So that's one of the things. Now, if you like to go first, you got to be ready to make them not want to talk to the other realtors. Okay, so that's the only strategy to go first is to say, okay, so why would you talk to anyone else? Right now I'm here. Did what I say sound right? Are you ready to move forward? Do you feel like we're in alignment? Do you feel like I'm the right person to get your house sold? Great. So what could someone else say that I haven't that might change your mind? Okay. Debbie, talk about, are you armed with that conversation when you like to go
Absolutely.
first?
Yeah. So what could I have done differently, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What's missing from
Yep.
this?
What's missing?
Actually
What's
get
somebody
them
else
to
going to tell you
yeah,
that
they'll
I
tell
didn't
you
tell you? Mm-hmm.
it's commission. They're going to want to talk to you about commission.
Yep.
Don't be afraid to talk about it.
Well, and think about that too. The people who, when I ask what are the top 2 goals from this meeting, commission was nowhere in her list, right? That's another key thing. They will tell you right then. If one of their top 2 goals is what you're going to charge them to do this deal, they are going to tell you that right then. Okay, so you'll know that commission is potentially a conversation you're going to have when you're out there. Again, do not have the appointment on the phone. Okay, so if I said, what are your top 2 goals for this meeting when I'm out there? And she said, well, I really want to know what you're going to charge me to sell my house and what you think it could sell for. Great. So the 2 things we're going to really dig into are your expenses to sell the property, including the commission, and what we think we can list your property for and what the most money we think the market can bear right now. Is that correct? Okay, so you take whatever they said and you're going to reiterate it back to them on exactly what you think they're asking you. Okay, so they will say commission if they mean it. Okay.
One thing that Steve Rupp taught me was instead of calling it a commission, it's a professional services fee.
Sure.
I know that's kind of wordy, but it sounds less like commission. It's my professional services fee. Our professional services fee.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. Whatever works for you is great. So I really like that. The only reason I always use commission is because I feel like that's what the consumers know it as. So, I think just see what kind of words they're using and then go from there. All right. It is 9 o'clock. I will see all of you next week. Go make some calls, pre-qual at a high level, and then I will see you all next Tuesday. If you need me, you know where to get me. Bye, bye, bye.